the vector is going this way. We'll only equal that if this one's going that way, isn't it?
No, that's not. No. So this one's going this way. One's going this. One's going that. Right?
Yeah, but in our case, observe on vectors, they can only equal. You can only do that if not that if it's going like
No, no. From what I know, it's two directions. So if it doesn't, if it goes in the same direction, then you add it. If it goes in the opposite direction, then you add it.
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Hold on, let me find some proof on.
I'm not big that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
This is not going in the direction,
it's in the direction plus
Yeah, it's fine. That was one of my crypto was like.
But you said that's not how it works.
That's what
You said if it goes in the same direction, you add.
yeah.
So if you add, this is not going in the same direction.
Because it, like in the triangle, it's not going in the same direction, it's going in the opposite direction. See? That's going the opposite. It's hard to explain. Isn't this literally very tall?
Yeah, but there's something different about this one.
There is something different.
So you have minus j. So I have minus j.
This one was you get again. It was all one season.
This is the. The sun's on.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So if I need to find
Oh,
PQ,
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
so I can find PQ, right?
Isn't it? Minus one.
So PQ will be Q minus. So it's going to be 2y plus j minus. So P will be I plus.
How did you change my A B?
So that is equal to I minus j. So PR. PR will be 2y minus 3j minus P I plus 2j. So this is going to be I minus 3j minus 5j. Right? So now for the future purpose I need to find the unit vector as well, right? So this is PQ. Now if I want to find PQ, this, how do you find that? How do you find PQ? So you can do this, right? So PQ magnitude is PQ vector dot PQ vector. Understand that? Dot product gives you x squared plus y squared thing, right?
Did you dot product itself?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's how you find it.
Remove e squared.
You know that?
You use the x squared plus y squared.
It's like this. Like if you have p vector is equal to xi plus yj. So if you do p dot p, so it's going to be x squared plus y squared. So this should be x squared plus y squared square root. That means p vector dot p vector.
Yeah. I was just doing that. I was going by x squared plus y squared.
But all the time you don't get x squared plus y squared.
No,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
Things can be different sometimes.
Yeah.
So this one would be I with I 1 plus 1 square. So PR mod, that would be I1 plus 25. So it's going to be 26. Yep. Then if you need PQ unit vector, PQ unit vector is PQ vector divided by PQ vector magnitude. So PQ vector would be I plus I minus j. PQ magnitude is square root 2. So PR unit vector, so that is going to be PR vector divided by PR vector magnitude. So PR would be I minus phi j. So I minus phi j divided by 26 square root. Right? So now you need to find, the question is vector resolute. Vector resolute. Understand what it is. Vector resolute. PQ in the direction of PR. PQ in the direction of PR. So that means you are bending PQ towards PR. So the vector resolute A. So that would be PQ vector dot PR vector hat. This would be the scalar resolute. Right? So the vector resolute would be PQ dot PR hat, and that is your vector resolute. Right? So PQ vector you know already. It's I minus j dotted with PR hat, that would be this I minus phi j divided by 26 square root. Then outside you have I minus phi j 26 square root. So this is vector resolute. This is equal to, I goes with I, it's 1. This goes with that, it's going to be 5. Right? So it's going to be this one times I minus phi j 26 square root. This is equal to 6I minus 30j divided by 26. That is the vector resolute. Right? Shortest distance from Q to the line PR. Q to PR. The shortest distance Q to PR would be what? Now how do you find that? Just give it a try. So the part B, I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the answer. Part B, answer would be shorter distance. Before the exam, you had to do this like I do. One second. Something wrong. must be a question. Got the answer. So you got the first one, right?
Yeah.
First one is fine. B, shortest distance. How to get it? Okay, look.
Wait.
So we'll go to the basics again. It is very easy. So we go to the basics again. Look. So this is your P, right? This is your Q, right? Yeah. So what is the vector resolute? Vector resolute is this, right? This vector. What is that? If this is P and Q, the vector resolute is always P dot Q hat. Q hat. But if you have Q here, Q hat is nothing but Q vector divided by Q vector magnitude. So you can put this here. So it's Q, the whole thing divided by Q vector square. Okay? Or you know that Q vector magnitude is nothing but Q vector dot Q vector square root. I told you that. So learn how to play with this. So Q vector square is nothing but Q vector dot Q vector. So you can have many forms.
But that's just divide. That's just Q.
You can have many forms, right? Now, so this is not the problem, so I just expand it, right? The problem is you found this, you have Q. So this guy is this length, right? The vector I meant. What is the perpendicular distance? Perpendicular distance is this distance. 90. Right?
Dude, it's this in the direction of this. So you bring this down here. This is the length that you're looking for.
Yeah. So then this vector over here, this plus that is equal to this, right? So this vector is nothing but P minus the vector resolute, which is P dot Q.
Yeah, that's it.
right? That is the perpendicular vector. This is perpendicular vector. The question is asking perpendicular distance, right?
So it's scale.
Now find it.
Dude, you already found. You already know this.
Okay, find
You already
this.
know this. So you're
Quickly.
just trying to find this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
literally, yeah, I just
You found
figured
it.
out.
You found it. You found it here.
So this
Yeah, I
is
literally
essentially
just tried doing that.
perpendicular vector.
I just did it a lot.
Need to find the distance.
Wait.
This is all my stages.
Okay, now look. What I did was, I knew this, right? So the perpendicular vector is nothing but P minus the vector residue, right? So what is P in this business? PQ. What I did, PQ minus, where is the vector residue? This. When I minus it, I get this. That's the perpendicular vector.
That's why. That's exactly what I did.
Oh, I did the wrong one.
Hmm?
Oh, okay. Actually, it was pretty close. Hold on.
Minus the distance of
Dude, that's just I minus J. This is minus the vector residue. Dude, that's just the vector.
Oh, I need tons of it.
It's just I minus J minus.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I got my answer. I see tons of it.
You know what I did? I
I
minus 5J minus that.
thought I got the wrong answer, but it's not simple.
That's the
why.
vector. So do you still have to find the scale value?
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
You have to find the mod of that.
Yeah, the mod of that.
Um,
6R minus 35 over 26. 20I minus 4J. Okay, 20I plus 4J over 26. That's the vector. I need to find.
So now you need to find. So you understand how you build it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so now you need to find the distance. How do you find the distance from here? You know you need to get the magnitude, right? But, is there any other way that you can do it?
well, it's a triangle.
So,
Jesus. Is it five values?
They made enough sense.
God.
so, now,
Oh, because you found the scalar.
You found both sides.
Yeah,
You found
so
both
yeah,
sides.
yeah.
Yeah, you
So this is you know this, you know the scalar
You
resolute.
found the scalar resolute.
Scalar resolute
I knew
is-
there was a reason why you found the scalar resolute.
This is the scalar resolute. You find x. Red blue man.
What's theory squared minus scalar?
That's basically what it was. Sick.
Right. So now here, this is your perpendicular vector W, right? So W is equal to now P vector minus P vector Q, Q. Now from here, X means the W vector magnitude, right? So X is W vector magnitude. So that would be what?
W vector dot W.
Exactly. W vector dot W vector. So see, that's why this is important.
Yes.
Right? When you don't have X, Y all the time, right? The basic definition is important. So W vector dot W vector. So W vector is this. So it's nothing but P vector minus P vector dot Q, Q, the whole thing dotted with the same thing. That. Then what? Then what?
That question is like what?
We solved it.
Oh, wow, you just sub in 20 plus 20 plus 40.
No, it's just P dot P, right? So see, P dot P. Is it going to work?
Is it just 20i plus 4j over 26 dotted? Right?
Yeah.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from here you have to sort of leave it with this, right?
Yeah, that's.
Because you don't have any knowledge about like the directions of P and Q. Actually you have, but you don't have to do it in that way.
Yeah.
You have the knowledge, OP is given to you, but if you want to really do the dot product, you have to put IJ and stuff and then do it.
You can't dot it from there?
You can, but P dot P, what is that? Then P dot this, what is that?
No, I was wondering like, because you have what W vector is, which is 29 plus 4j over 26.
Oh yeah, you can go from there.
Can't you just say 20
Yeah,
plus
you
4
can
over
go
26?
from there. Yes,
Yeah.
you can go from there. So W vector is already this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you just do, what is it, 20 plus 4 over 26?
Oh no, 20 squared.
Oh, good. So that's how you
26 squared.
do that.
I can't remember. You guys stuff like geometry.
You know what I did? I did this, I did I minus, I did I minus.
You
said you did I minus IJ.
Okay, so do this question now.
Oh, I did 2i minus 3j. Instead of I minus 3. There's one on the side.
Yeah. Grade plus B plus sin A plus A.
Yeah. Sin A plus B plus sin B plus A.
Cosec 520 divided by 12.
So that is sin of. Wait, what value did we choose?
Done?
Sin A equals A. Well, sin A equals B plus. Yeah, sin A equals B minus. Yeah, sin A equals B plus sin B plus A. Yeah.
So,
What is that?
Sine A plus B is sine A plus B.
Cosec, right?
Yeah.
Cosec means
Oh, you just do one on sine.
cosec means sine, right?
Yeah.
So you use sine A plus B.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all.
So sine A plus B is
My brain is pretty dead right now.
sine A cos B plus sine B cos A, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so then what?
That's one.
Then what is A and B?
Did I mess up?
So
split
you
pi
split it
pi.
into pi on 4 plus pi on 6.
Yeah.
And then go from
And
there.
then you can solve it.
So that means sine pi over 4 plus pi over 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just solve
Okay,
it.
so sine pi over 4 is 1 divided by square root 2. Cos 30 is equal to square root 3 divided by 2. Sine 30 would be half. It is going to be 1 divided by square root. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would be square root 3 plus 1 divided by 2 square root 2.
And then you just flip it.
Yeah. So it's going to be sine. This is going to be 5 pi divided by 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So cosec 5 pi divided by 12 is equal to 2 square root plus 1. Then what?
Rationalize the denominator.
Rationalize it. So 2 square root 2 with square root 3 minus 1. It's going to be 3 minus 1. It's going to be 2. So it's going to be square root 6 minus 1.
Yep.
This one. Too good.
I'll show you this question here, right? You can't do it. You can't still do it.
Is that integration?
Yeah. So you can't still do it, guys. This question you can still do it, but you can do it.
I can do
You
it.
wanna do it?
Okay, don't do it.
We can do it.
Yeah, we probably could.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can see sine squared, cos squared. Trigonometric stuff are coming here. So trigonometry is regular.
Isn't it just doing mine?
Stop trying to do it.
I'm just trying to do my head.
Why don't you do something?
Nice. You know the song Oh My God by Usher? What is my head? Don't call Usher gay. He's my dad.
He's
So easy. He's my dad, bro. He's my dad.
Okay, try this question.
Oh, come on. Great.
Sick. I'm so good at tricks.
Didn't we do this question?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I remember I almost got very close to getting the answer.
Yeah, then.
Can I try? Quick.
No.
There's a very easy way to do it. I can't remember.
No, it's equally spaced, but
Yeah,
there's a
it's multiplied
the
by-
starting the starting point is not the starting point isn't on there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
What's it?
It's like,
Oh, you just have to find the starting point.
So there has to be 8 minus 2.
You said 8 minus
Which of the
2.
following Argand diagram represents the
So
rate
this
of the
is
equation negative
It is
pi?
negative pi.
Okay, do that question quick. Give me the answer.
Bro, I'm just gonna solve it.
So what are the other options?
Hmm?
What were the other options?
So it's just something positive I.
Option D looks zero. It's just not minus.
Are you see?
I just have one solution.
Yeah.
You just have one solution.
I convert it to cis and then
You already got one of the angles.
Yeah,
So that's the
exactly.
answer. You got all the other fields.
Okay, got the solution?
Yeah.
Give the power to the power.
Yeah.
I still have to do the thing though. Minus 60. Oh yeah,
Because basically, which one of the best shows and then P Z is equal to negative.
yeah, so then how do you do that? What is that?
Z to the power of 8 is equal to 6 to the power of
Z is equal to 6 pi.
That's
that's
all.
okay.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Is there any questions in the homework that we need to discuss?
Wait, it was just the questions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from our
Oh, those ones, yeah, you mentioned.
You didn't
No,
know.
no,
You
no.
don't.
No, I thought so.
You don't
know.
You just don't.
You just don't. You just don't.
I'm just.
You just don't know.
I'm just predicting.
Okay, anyhow, I need to see the homework, okay? Okay, question number 6 and 7.
Question number 6. OAB. Wait, did you? So you see right?
Yeah, it looks.
When A is when it's like the letter is bold, is that a vector?
Yeah.
Which question?
6 and 8, 6 and 7.
Which of the following is a solution of is a triangle? That a triangle is equilateral. Oh, one. That's you can just do Pythagoras and then from there you can.
Yeah, what is the answer? Question number 6, what is the answer? This is real-time exam papers, okay? And this is the level. You know, these people are asking, like, looking at your thinking, not the material. Material, there are a lot of things, right? But thinking is important.
Isn't it C?
B. Okay, wait. Hang on. No, right.
C. I got C's. Wait, no. A plus B. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, what's he just saying?
Yeah. Yeah, C. Because A plus B.
Oh, no.
A plus B dot A plus B should be the same as B.
Oh wait, actually.
square plus b squared.
4ab.
4ab.
No, it's going to be a squared plus b squared.
Hang on, because
Because we need to dot product to it. I think it is right. Plus b times b.
Does C make sense to you? Because A plus B is, when you add vectors, it should give a resultant vector.
Yeah. B dot.
Yeah.
but they're both from the origin.
Yeah,
so
Yeah, they're both from origin, so
so they're in different directions.
Yeah, what I'm saying
And
is
you
this
add-
and this and this. So that means this has to be the same vector as this. And you
Yeah.
what? B plus B and then A minus B, so it has to be C.
Yeah, look at the so you get the B, the copy,
2AB.
that also is.
Yeah, what is the answer?
I think C.
I said B.
Between these two brackets, right?
That's not
C.
It means B.
CB.
Oh, both?
No, you are saying C, you are saying
Oh,
CB,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. After C.
I'm not even
I'm not sure.
Shashi, what is the answer?
I feel like it has to be C.
Because you can do
Yeah.
it, right? Because you
This dot in between the brackets, right? And
It's
C.
not B, right?
Yeah.
This is
2AB is equal to.
Yeah. Look at this. Wait, right? Wait. Look at this. That's this one.
B minus A.
What? So that's this one. You take the 2P off. This is coming from cos here, right? Cos inverse this is 60. The in equilateral triangle, the angle is for 60.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then even in the next one, it says and more is equal to B minus A. That makes sense. Because in a triangle, you get this.
Yeah, no,
That's A.
if you subtract them all.
This is B. This is so this is B.
Yep.
A. This is B minus A. So therefore this mod has equal this mod. And this is equal. Two sides are equal. This angle is 60.
C or D?
Therefore these are equal to 60.
So it's B.
Yeah, I'm saying B.
Oh no, it's not A. Okay, yeah, C. It's not C. It's not C. It's B.
I'm saying B.
It's not B. It's not C. It's B.
Answer is B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
You know why I realized that I was wrong? Because it's A plus B.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
B.
saying. That's literally
A plus B will get longer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Answer is B. So in that answer there is small trap set. 2AB,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you cross multiply that, then you get half,
Yeah, that's
That's what cos 60 is.
cos 60.
Mm-hmm. And that's equal.
And if you use A dot B, AB cos 60 makes sense. Because for equilateral angle is 60. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this makes sense. Why? Because you cross multiply. So it's going to be half, right? This. So this is going to be cos 60, right? So this will tell you
Yeah,
That's
that's
why-
right.
that's
That's
why-
right.
that's
That's
why
right.
it
That's
makes
right.
the
sense.
angle between A and B will be 60.
And then it's equal.
Mm-hmm.
That will tell you that.
What about mod A?
Right.
Mod B minus A.
And
Now-
if you get B
Next
minus
one.
A as a vector, if you subtract
Next one,
you're
if you
supposed to
have
get
B
A
here,
as a vector.
B minus A.
A here.
In a different direction.
What is this one? B minus A, right? That is B minus A.
Yeah.
So if it is an equilateral triangle, this should be equal to that, that should be equal to that. So that means A mod should be is equal to B mod,
Yeah.
should be is equal to B minus A mod.
Yeah, that's it.
Makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so now question number 7.
With A.
Is that a 3D vector?
Yeah.
Which is the following is true. A is 0, B is 3.
Question number 8, you can see that's locus. That is the next topic I'm going to do.
I like that.
Wait.
So there has to be quicker doing this.
No, no.
We've done this at school.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Look.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
look
we've
this.
done it at school.
Yes. This is a bit slower.
Easy.
When you got into this, have we done it or have we not?
So can you tell me the answer then?
You're supposed to be able to tell the answer within like a couple seconds, right? Because this is multiple choice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for which one?
For any of the multiple choice, you're supposed to get them in like less than a minute, right?
Hasn't asked
Like,
zero.
your question says
Question A. Oh wait.
That's a symptom epic.
You actually.
Wait, is this a ellipse? This is an ellipse, right?
Wait, can't you just do y is 0?
What does that find out?
Oh, this is a hyperbola.
Huh? Oh yeah.
This is a
yeah.
hyperbola.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, we haven't done that.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. When first one lesson. We did for like.
That's also
Okay, question number 7.
One lesson, like a few minutes.
A dot B is equal to 0. If B is equal to 3 and Q is equal to 1. Dude, how do I grab something in 3D space, man? That's so stupid.
You can't bubble. Yeah,
Wait, 7A is wrong, right?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, it has to.
I think that.
You know, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna look it up.
If you order them properly.
A dot B.
No, there has to be quick.
Mod A equals root 30 of
A
A.
dot B. A B is equal to half.
If P equals 4. 25 plus
Okay, so A and C are basically the same thing.
41. Okay, B is equal to well,
A is
it's
perpendicular. What do you mean perpendicular in 3D space?
When you don't,
AB
because
equals mod A.
Yeah, but when you mean like perpendicular, what do you mean like perpendicular in 3D space?
Yeah, that's possible. What do you do?
Yeah, but like, there's so many ways you can do that. Oh,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just say it.
Zero just is.
So you just use the dot product.
okay, man.
Stop.
They just stop.
How do you talk about
Wait, how do you dot product like 3D?
Isn't this ABC mod?
No, it's just x squared plus y squared because these got the whole root.
Root and then times the other because it's AB.
It's just the mod of A times the mod of B.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's what you said.
That's literally what I said.
Just leave.
That's literally what I said. Leave. This is yeah, leave.
A is perpendicular to B.
25.
That's how do you know?
Come on, man.
Q is 1. Supply is 13. Divided by.
So this is 25 plus
Mod A mod B.
BJ.
How?
What is the square root of 27? Wouldn't it be the cube? It's 8.
No, I use it all.
This is in 3D space.
Nah, I
Am I being high?
100.
Square root.
No, because that's it's a model, right?
Wait, it's
Because if it is a cube, then 27
It's C, right? C comma, right?
Your mom's
Nah, but still not.
A is perpendicular to B is equal to 1 and B is 7. B is 1 and B is 7.
But in
Sure.
4 plus 9 is 16 plus 49 is 16.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but you're stupid.
good point, you didn't know what E was.
59 plus 6. 65. Why can't it be 64, dude? Wait, no, I can't do math. That's not 16.
Makes sense.
That's 8.
13
That was 8.
49. 13 plus 49. What's 13 plus 49?
What? I can figure out yourself.
Take away whatever
Okay,
is
fine.
There's nothing.
Okay, 7.
Okay, so D is alright then.
Then it's
It's E or something. Cos. Well, how do you find the angle between them? Yeah, does it matter?
No, it's cos.
Cos
I
one.
was right on. Yeah.
To find the angle.
Okay. Trick. Because you know the values of the sides.
Easiest question, bro.
Cos theta.
Yeah, which is the right answer?
Cos is equal to a half.
So, yeah. Can you get the answer by just looking at it?
Can you what?
Can you get the answer by just looking at it, or do you have to actually figure it out?
If you saw this question for the first time, can you just pick it up straight away, or can you have to get a piece of paper?
No, I mean, you know, like they have given you a few conditions, right? P is equal to 3 and Q is equal to -1, right? So, and then the first one, I will do it very quickly. I'm not staring at it. I'm just doing it very quickly. Like P is equal to 3, Q is equal to 1. So P, I put P3 here, Q is equal to 1 here, right? And then A dot B means I terms are dotting each other, J terms are dotting each other, K terms are dotting each other, right? So 5 times 2 is 10. Then P is what? 3. So 3 times 3, 9, minus 9, right? So it's going to be plus 1. Then here K is what? 1, negative 1. Q is negative 1. 1 is equal to 1. So it's not going to be true. Right? So likewise you have to put the things. So A, if P is equal to 4, if P is equal to 4, it's going to be 25, this is going to be 16, 40, 41, 41, 1, 42. So is it correct?
That's not right.
Yeah, this is incorrect.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
I think it's C.
Yeah, and see, it's half if P is equal to 2, Q is equal to 1. So if P is equal to 2, Q is equal to 1, it's half, right? So that means theta should be 60, right? So if you put that, what do you get?
This is such a great question.
I think it's C.
Okay, C is little lengthy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go for D. A and B is perpendicular if P is 1, Q is equal to 7.
That means
Perpendicular means
cos
90.
Cos 90.
Cos 9 is equal to 0,
Yeah.
right? So that means if you dot,
It should be 0. But
it should be 0. So 5 times 2,
so
10.
that's not right.
P is what? 1. 1 times 3,
Negative.
minus 3, 7. 7 minus 7, right? 7 minus 7, 0. It is answer.
Hey, I figured that out.
I mean, I guess shut up.
Yeah, bullshit.
If it's perpendicular, cos.
Cos theta equal to 9.
Yeah, wait, but the dot product, right? When you do dot product, you get an
Mod A, mod B, cos theta.
times cos theta.
Cos theta, if you're timing something like 0, what is it?
And here in this
It
case,
is
cos
cos
theta is 90, which is 0, so that's why you get 0 when you do it. Okay.
Yeah, so you actually can't like look at it, just get it.
No, you have to go through it
Figure
one
it
by
out.
one.
No, but apparently you're expected to do these kind of multiplication questions.
Yeah, I mean, if we've done enough active questions.
Dude, in under 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just like look through them and look at the ones that's most plausible.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
No, maybe like 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
No, do it.
3 weeks.
I got $10.
No, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Do it.
3 weeks.
30 seconds.
No, I'll do it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
No, man. I
You
got
got a better than that.
No, easy.
You got a better than that.
Well, in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Shoot, let's go.
No, I can't. Wait, is it regular?
A. 8.
Essence of.
Like C's.
Just make y equals 0 and go for x and find out what x is. Wait, don't you just do wouldn't you just do y?
So can you show us question H?
I mean, taller than you both.
Don't you just do y equals 0?
You just bring the 16 down, you divide everything by 16.
Y equals 0.
You divide everything by 16. Yes.
No.
Okay, Sashi, any questions? Okay, we'll go back to our vector lesson. So any questions?
Is it's asking.
No. Yes. You're finding linear equations that are diagonal. No.
Okay, so vector resolute stuff I gave you for homework, right? So
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no.
It was just a question on the
Everyone's saying it.
I only saw the complex.
I thought that was the class.
What did you ask me?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that Google Classroom exists.
Don't you?
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna lie.
Don't check the room.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. Last week
What was the question from last
complex
week?
number. Yeah, but he's talking about vectors.
Yeah, you probably didn't put it all up.
Yeah, no,
He
it's not.
put physics one.
Yeah, he put physics.
Yeah. He put physics.
Yeah, you put the physics textbook up, but not.
no, that is for that guy. Hey, did you get my physics book?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I didn't have a platform to give you that, so I uploaded here so that knowing that you are going to download it.
There's no way. Are we supposed to?
We are not.
We're
We're not fine.
Oh.
We're mentally stable.
No.
Oh, vectors do not have physics.
They do.
Even no, not in physics.
Oh, not in art, but in physics in uni, yes.
Oh, in
You know, I have uploaded those questions in the 1-2 classroom.
Oh,
Wait, 1, 2, there's a 1, 2, 1?
Nah, he got more.
I thought you said you
Three,
do 1, 2,
three,
3, 4 all
three.
together. So don't you do 1, 2, 3, 4 all together?
No, like the one, like year 12 people's.
That's 3, 4.
3 for 1.
I'm so confused.
who cares?
They probably just uploaded it to the year 12.
No, oh God, he told me.
No. You all my challenge.
Wait, okay, I think so can you show us question A? I think
Oh, we'll do that later.
Why would you make y
An asymptote is the intercept.
Dude,
No, but
in
it's
hyperbola,
not.
asymptote does not.
It's B divided by 2A. I don't remember.
Isn't it just you make y equal to 1?
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yeah,
So now in vectors,
One
the
again.
main part is done. That vector resolute, scalar resolute is the main part. Then we have to discuss two things. One is the collinearity, the other one is the dependency. So the dependency I'm going to start today.
I don't remember any of that.
So dependency is a very small thing, and which I'm going to do. But before that, okay, before that, I want you to attempt this question. Vectors. Question number 9. This is a book question. Question number 9. I need you to try it.
Vectors of A and B are Are we doing question 9?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, you just dot. Not dot, but vector projection.
That is dot.
Well, yeah, vector projection. You bring A to M. I mean, you bring A to the vector AB. And you bring it to the vector
Tell it
A.
from the outside.
Yeah, just tell it. AM. Dude, that's just vector projection.
AB is the vector. Just use.
Because you know the directions. Dude, then you just make the vector negative. And then you're fine. And you switch the direction. I'm just gonna make the AM.
Direction doesn't.
Dude,
Then you just use.
AM is easier.
It could be either way.
Okay, guys, do it.
AM easier to do first.
Yeah.
Can you do it without discussing?
So can we say that that triangle is a isosceles triangle? Can you assume that or not?
No, you can't assume.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just find AB and then half it.
Yeah.
So you don't need vector projection.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
But it would be if you had vector projection, it would be easy.
No.
I think so.
Hold on. What is A?
They don't give you
They don't need it.
that's a U.
No, you have to find it, right?
Yeah.
So what is that?
Is it in terms of A and B?
Yeah.
Minus A plus B all over 2. Why are you telling me that projections? I was like,
Oh, no. I didn't know you had to do it in terms. But like, wait, no, it is on terms. What? No, nothing.
I think you're overcomplicating.
Nothing. No one did anything.
Do you understand when you do the projection, there is a vertical perpendicular line, right? So that is that W, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have that sense. Like, do you have anything like that there?
No, because
You can get the projection. The projection is a shadow, right? But nothing is going to match with that.
You can't assume that it is a isosceles.
Yeah.
If you could assume that it would work.
Even if it's isosceles, like that is not going to work.
Because M is directly above O if it was an isosceles.
Okay, but that is not given to you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Wait. AB is just A plus B. Oh, but you don't even know if they're right angle or not. When you get A,
I got AB is A
minus A plus B.
minus A.
Are you serious, guys? You're joking, right? You're just going backwards and then up.
Backwards and then up.
You're thinking too hard.
Because you like this.
I think
This is simple vector.
Yes, it's negative.
This is like you can do this at the fifth. I don't think what you guys do. It's just how do you go from A to O? Minus A. No.
Minus A.
Oh, okay, sick, bro. Sick.
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 No, you just
Sick.
the direction of the A.
I don't want to do that.
Oh wait.
I hate life.
I want to neck myself.
Great that.
I want to neck myself.
I want to make myself.
So there is an easy way to get AB. You know that, right? AB, you get the last term, B minus A. B minus A. So it's B, it's here B, A. So AB would be B minus A. Then you have the AB is the whole thing, right? So this one, AB is this. So this is the midpoint. So that means this is half of this, right? So you understand AM is nothing but half of AB. So it's going to be half of B minus A. Right? Then what? AM is fine. OM, what is OM? So OM, you know now OM.
I've got B minus 0. I think I'm
Okay, so OM is this, right? So you need this. So you understand OM, okay, this plus that. OM is equal to OA plus AM, right? Can you see? You can go from here to here. You can see the arrow, and you can go from here to here. It seems like you are going from here to here. So OM is equal to, so this is called triangle addition, right? In these proof questions, you get triangle additions always, and this concept, right? So it's going to be OA is equal to A, AM is equal to half B minus A. So it's going to be half of A plus B, right?
Can you do it in terms of B?
In terms of?
B, so like B plus half B minus A, if you go the other way.
Yeah. You get the same thing.
That's fine.
Sorry. Okay, question number 10. So this is 3-4 book, okay? This is 3-4. So 1-2 stuff are done. So we will move into 3-4.
How do you draw vectors on 3D scale?
We draw.
Vectors in 3D scale, what do you mean by that?
Like I, J, K.
Yeah, you can.
No, you draw it. You can.
But vector is always a straight line.
You have to have reference points to show that this is a 3D object, and then you can draw a vector inside.
Oh, okay.
But that you wouldn't do that.
Vector is always a straight line. But you can have that in the 3D space.
Not true. When you add OA and AN, OA would be going the opposite direction.
When you add O, A, and A.
OA and AN.
Yeah, okay.
OA.
Okay, question number 10, guys, quick. So I'm going to give you a little bit of exposure so that you can take care of the rest.
When you add OA and AM, wouldn't that give you MO, not OM?
Same thing.
No.
What is the basic idea of vectors? Displacement. You are going from here to here. You are going from here to here. That means you are going from here to here. This is A, this is B, this is C. A is equal to B plus C. That's vector addition. That's the basic concept of vector addition.
Yeah.
And vector addition holds the vector triangular rule.
Wait, how would you do it like? Because sometimes they're opposite directions and then it
Yeah.
becomes minus, right?
Yeah. So if it is opposite direction like this, right?
Yes, it is X, Y.
Let's just prove it's parallel. No, it's
X, Y. Express X, Y in terms of A and B. Like, where does it say perfect parallel?
That can't be.
It's a trapezium.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You can't divide vectors.
That's one times A and B.
Ah, so it is.
Can you see that? What is that?
Done. XY in terms of what is it?
Translate it. If you take the lines apart, you translate it like that.
He's going to be midpoint, right?
That's how you do it.
See, my problem is you don't know the direction of like the y or ax. Right? So
Why do you need the direction?
to find to do vector addition.
Yeah.
No, but B1.
So this one. XY in terms of A and B.
Translate it.
Yeah, done.
It makes
Right. Done. Done.
should be like half. Half. Oh. No, it doesn't.
Oh, that is not parallel. Wouldn't it be parallel?
No,
No, you have to prove, right?
You have to.
Trapezium, yeah.
I'm convinced it's just half this way. Damn right.
You could might be
It's a triangle.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Imagine if there's some vectors that could be.
Okay, because if you subtract y, you still get the same things. If you get a minus b, subtract b.
Anything?
Yeah.
So AB is given
You
A,
go with these segments and if you add them together, you get the.
DC is given B, that's it.
A minus
If you add these
B
two, you get that.
is equal to this.
Then they have given you this.
Did you do that? Did you do that? Did you work at AD?
Hmm?
Did you work at AD?
No.
You did?
A minus b. Because if you translate CD and AB, you can form a triangle with XY as the side. Okay.
Hmm?
And yeah, this is wrong now.
somehow you.
If you cut off right here,
Does this make sense?
I think there's some kind of geometry like that.
it's genius.
There's no possibility.
It's a geometry. It's like the correct. It's not just like.
Nothing is coming.
This is just. No. What's in the
Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Does X Y look like the same
No,
as A?
I'm just saying.
Next one, chemistry.
Okay, if you think about it, right? AB minus CD.
That does not think X, Y, it's just like.
I'm not saying that.
But you just said that A is X Y.
No. Hear me out.
You just said A is X Y. A is just X Y.
Hear me out.
See what it's-
If you look at A, B, and X, Y, right? If you make like a triangle from point X to like, and then like look at it vertically, and then you do that to the same part on the right side, and then if you like add those triangles to the two parts in VCE.
Oh,
And
I think he added T.
Yeah, that's the same way.
And
How do you
then
get that
that
then? How do you get that then?
Okay.
But how do you get that then?
I mean, don't you think? Oh.
It's like it's a stretch.
No,
but, like,
that doesn't work. That's not what
it's A. I'm turning over.
It can't be A. How is it going to be
That's
A?
not drawn to scale.
Dude, even if it's not drawn to scale, X Y cannot be another. It's a trapezium. It's going to be shorter as it goes higher. How can it be A? Calm down.
This guy said the stupidest proposition of his life. I can't believe that he said that.
No, okay. No, my logic kind of.
No, it didn't make sense. Because A equals not vector, another vector equal A. Like what? Yeah, you can't read it.
I still think like I'm somewhat.
That still doesn't become A. This gets cut down.
Yeah, okay.
Because down these lines, that doesn't become A.
It's a trapezium. It's guaranteed that it will be shorter than A.
Look, these ones.
Yeah, no, it's guaranteed it'll be shorter than that.
Because this one becomes equal to this one.
Yeah.
No, because this, so you
No,
you
but that's
just-
not A anymore.
these
That's
guys-
A. That's A minus.
These two sides.
Yeah.
Because this should be A minus. This should be A minus these two.
Yeah, but
You
what are
don't
those
have
two sides?
What are those two sides? It's not A then.
Wait, no, you can just do.
I don't know what this guy is on about. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's A minus those two sides. Or it could be.
It has to be times A
Or
and
it
B.
could be B plus those two sides.
Yeah, but you don't know the sides. What I'm saying.
A.
A minus 2x with it's in terms of A B.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Think of X and have two sides.
Yeah, but
You can't do that because you don't know X Y.
Yeah,
you should be careful without something.
No, it's gonna cancel out. If you
doesn't.
add it, if you do BC, BC plus those two sides, it's the same as A minus those two sides.
Okay.
Did you just say A is equal to
Yeah,
A?
you just don't cancel it to make the other side scoring.
Yeah.
You just have to get rid of it. You have to get rid of it somehow. That's exactly what I was thinking. Two equations, surely
Equals minus B minus 2x. A equals
Okay,
minus
I'm not sure.
Make it subject to x.
Yes.
I don't know, I just think A, if you do the negative,
You just need knowledge of triangles.
A
I'm
equals
not even
minus
kidding. What happens when when you get halfway here?
Okay, so try this way. Try this way. So you didn't find anything XY, right?
Yeah.
So try this way. So complete this one. Then you can get AX vector, right? Vector plus XY all of these are vectors, right? Plus YB is equal to A. This part, vector addition. Then you can do another one here, right? So this is AX, so it's going to be 2AX. Plus, oh, this is A, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. 2AX plus B plus, so this is YB, right? So I would say 2YB is equal to again A. Right? So if you want, you can have another one here, right? So it would be XY, so no, XA, so this is XA, right? So this one is XA, same as that. XA plus B plus YB should be equal to XY, right? So 3 equations, solve it and get the answer.
So it is this vector addition.
Yeah. Is there anything that you can do? No. If you try to make triangles, man, you are going to sort of, if you make a triangle, but still how you obtain XY?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So they have given you this is equal to that, so that you can represent this distance by that. Right? So do the algebra, 3 simultaneous equations. You can see 3 unknowns, 3 simultaneous equations. Question. You guys doing this tutoring, biology, chemistry, whatever, right? Have you ever seen any Chinese students in your classes? All Indian, Sri Lankan? Any Chinese?
Oh. Yeah, that's what it's like.
I had one Chinese last year. Last year I had. But this year I don't.
But he does good. Actually does.
But I'm going to have a Chinese student for the latest one. Send him to school, one Chinese. I don't know what.
But he doesn't know. Doesn't know. Wait, doesn't know.
Can you teach me how to do Wait, that's so funny. I'll teach you guys.
You get something?
No,
Like, it doesn't work.
You get something from here?
No. No. Mine, for me, just cancel out.
Mine's
It just cancelled out.
I can't get it.
Yeah, just cancel it out.
Yeah, but with the A, we just cancelled out for me.
So if you equate this to
You're
what you
trying to
get?
find XY, right? Wait, I think XY is
Because
I got XY is half A.
huh?
You don't need the middle equation, do you?
Because what? No, because I did. So I substituted XA and YB. With the
If you multiply this one by 2, 2AX.
So if you equate these two, what do you get?
Look, move these 3 equations, right?
Yeah.
So then you have these.
Just get YB
and you get XA. Right? So you move 0 minus A.
and then
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is look at this equation. If you multiply this one by 2,
I literally, I could just. This is where I go. And it has to be easy for A minus A. It doesn't fit.
so that just cancels.
Exactly, cancels out.
Think about this one. If you multiply this one by 2, right, and then you
Oh.
subtract it,
It's going to cancel out, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Cancel.
Okay, yeah, it does cancel out.
oh.
It has to be, no, because why?
Yeah, it does cancel out. Like that, yeah, that does cancel out.
What's wrong?
Nah, man.
Wait, this.
Oh, wait,
sure.
Everything inside, bro. I buy it every time.
It's 310.
Oh, I can't believe it.
310.
Can you reckon you can take it in? So like, why not? Are you going in afterwards?
Oh no, I'm going straight to
Ah, that's
Oh,
fine.
no
That's
wonder why you
fine.
got this. I was like, saw this. I was like,
Something like this.
it looked so formal when I saw it first
It
time.
looks like my dad's work jacket. That's how it was. I feel like there's
Look at the signs, please.
Hmm? Mm-hmm.
So that all makes sense. That all makes sense, right? Yeah. That's what I did. No, so that's what I did, it cancels out.
Exactly.
You just sub x, y into the first one,
What
and
did
it
it
equals the same thing as.
With the second equation
It's
is
not
minus 2yb.
Wait.
Second equation?
When
I don't have it.
No, y is going. Oh,
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, get the work solution.
I don't have it.
One year.
Yeah, we'll check this.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else. See how it works. Check the solutions.
Wait, yes,
They're good.
The answer in the book is 13 over 9.
What is a height?
The answer
when
in the book is 13 over 9.
13 over 9.
Is it? Wait, are you sure?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
When you got the
13 over
midpoint
9.
of
It doesn't have A or B.
But there's no
nothing.
It can't be.
It wouldn't it be in terms of A, no?
Yeah, exactly.
No, express
I remember
xy
you
in
could
terms
do
of
it
AB,
either
right?
way.
So this is 3 for book.
Yeah.
3, 4.
3 for book, what chapter?
2A.
Yeah.
2A10.
Yes, it's 13 over 9.
But there's no research.
There's no 10A or 10B, it's just 10.
Then it's a different question.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's the wrong question. If it's just 10, it's the wrong question.
You're looking at, are you looking at
Are you looking
methods
at
or
methods?
specialists?
Are you looking at methods?
No, look at
It's
specials.
special. We got the question.
We found the question inside the book as well, and then we went inside the answers.
Wait,
It says 13 over 9.
No way.
Oh, so they are.
Chapter 2A, Chapter 2A, question number 10.
Okay, that's fine. So forget about it.
They don't even know how to answer their own question.
I still think it's my trend.
That's all you can't. I would say that's. I think.
It, I mean, it makes sense, but you can't translate on the y-axis.
Yes, you can. Oh, wait.
No, you can't.
You can't rotate. You can translate on any axis. You can
Yeah, I
translate.
can't find it.
Yeah, on like the x-axis, you gotta keep it.
Because you're gonna rotate it.
Yeah.
Why you can't rotate it?
Yeah, but it made sense. The theory made sense.
Wait. Wait.
Vector projection.
I've already translated, but you can
Linear dependence, independence.
what's the answer to that question?
13 over 9.
So 10D as well.
Oh, what did you say the answer like high as hell?
There should be methods. Not even for methods.
13 over 9.
With charts, what do we do?
The meaning of
Vector projections.
Dot product. I remember him saying that if dot product is equal to 1, it's like parallel or something.
Perpendicular, that's what.
Perpendicular is equal to 0.
Then it's parallel.
So that means if it's equal to 1.
Then the parallel.
Yeah, parallel.
Oh no, it's not even the dot product is equal to 1. It's cos. Cos is.
Cos value.
The one right outside
If it's equal to 1, it can equal to any.
Maybe.
same thing.
I'm not capping.
But yeah.
Nah, bro, he's a
I saw it.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, how can you always have like substitute?
Great times.
It's like with the actual coding, we think our people like
Nah, they got the ones who say
It's over. It's over. We get this shit on the test.
But
It's
he's
over.
been
Nah, they don't do that. If the people don't have their own answer for that question.
Just lies to about this.
No, that's not. I'm convinced the worst solution is what I thought.
It's gonna.
It's just in terms of A, B, and
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Like walk belly.
These films of geometry. Shit, I'm calling it.
I still think the triangle approach is the best.
I'm pretty.
No, I think the triangle approach is the best approach as well.
And then you can cook too.
I put like. Oh, you put more.
I think if you know this theory, like if you know this theory, if this is the midpoint of this,
No, but like, look, if you cut off that part to y and x, then those two added to CD is the same value.
I am.
A minus 2x would be plus 2x.
Not to
Okay,
I thought, oh yeah, and try and make it easy together. And it's gonna have
What I'm
some.
saying to this.
AB minus 2 whatever. Minus 2 something is equal to DC plus
545,
that
745.
Okay,
and then from there I have
It's pretty good.
So why you tell us? Why you tell us? Why you tell us?
Wait, then you can then it's just
Yeah, it's
then it's a square where
it's really far, that's why.
Where's the square in it?
2ax.
I think some of the kids used to
Bro,
do
like,
that.
it makes a square.
Where's the square?
No, it makes a rectangle.
Extra
It makes a
versus
rectangle. Where 2ax is equal to.
Now, where do we charge so much money? Because you keep screaming.
Yeah.
I still have no clue what you're saying, man.
Dude,
naming molecules for like.
Okay. Think about it. If you turn your head around.
Dude, why can't it just be half
You
A
can't
plus
say
B?
No, because dude, they wouldn't be able to touch.
No. What if you turn your head around?
Okay, yeah, I got no clue.
Wait.
Straight up kill you.
You just rotate. Like just rotate your head.
If you add A and B and it's divided by 2.
Okay, linear dependence and
That's what I was
independence.
saying.
Look at this.
So, you know how for that question 10, x and y is in the halfway point?
Yeah.
Could you not just say A plus B divided by 2?
Is what?
Is x y?
Because
Because xy would be the average of, like when I mean by average, it means like.
yeah.
But you have to prove it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Common sense says that yes. I know. But you have to prove it. So linear dependency and independency.
It doesn't say prove, it just says express. That was a mistake. Just if this is the
Suppose there is a vector pool, right? So many vectors are inside. So, for example, you have 3 vectors here. If you can write one vector in terms of other vectors, not all other vectors, but with other vectors, can be few, right? We call them linear dependency. Linear dependent. For example, if one vector can be written in terms of other vectors, if one vector can be written in terms of other vectors, they are linearly dependent to each other. So one vector can be written in terms of other vectors. For example, if you can write W in terms of U and V, for example, A times U plus B times V. A, B can be integers, right? Minus values, positive values are taken. So we call they are linearly
Does that mean that like A, B, A, N, and M are all linearly dependent?
Yeah.
In the question 9?
Yeah.
Really? That makes sense.
Yeah. So in a vector triangle, you know R vector is equal to A vector plus B vector. So all these 3 vectors are linearly dependent to each other. What is linear independent? Linear independent means you can't write this vector in terms of U and W. Okay? Give me an example. Give me an example for a linear dependency and linear independency. This is very important to understand. Suppose there are 3 vectors in 2-dimensional plane. What do you mean by 2-dimensional plane?
Could you say orthogonal, anything in an orthogonal system?
Hmm?
Could you say anything in an orthogonal system?
2D orthogonal system or 3D orthogonal system?
Probably 3D then.
So if you have 3 vectors like this, U here, V here, W here, right? Now you can see if you manage U and V, how do you manage it? You keep the direction, but you change the magnitude. you can make it shorter, you can make it large, right? So if you manage the distances, I mean the magnitudes of the vectors, you can match that with the W, right? What I'm saying, you can move this one here with AU. So I'm going to cut a part of that and paste it here. And then I'm going to take a part of this one and paste it here. So that would be B times V.
So,
You see that?
when you mean by you can write in terms of other vectors, can it be other unit vectors or other vectors?
Any vectors.
So then, couldn't you write any vector system in terms of unit vectors?
I'll show you. So now, so this is U, right, originally, right? AU is less than U, right, the magnitude. So somehow you can manage U and V so that you can write W is equal to AU plus BV. So if you can write these vectors in this format, we call them linearly dependent. Linearly independent means what? Linearly independent means we should be able to write it in this way, right? So an example. Example for linear independency. You know dependent, you know what is dependent, right? So this vector depends on these two, right? So if you have linear vectors, right, we call it, you know, when you are growing, you will see these words, planar vectors. Planar vectors means all these three vectors are on the same plane. There is another thing called non-planar vectors. Non-planar vectors are not in the same plane, right? All the planar vectors are linearly dependent.
3D vectors.
Non-planar vectors. What are the non-planar vectors? Suppose you have this U and V, right? Your W is here. Your W is here, this direction. Like this.
So dimensions.
Right? So can you write the W in terms of U and V now? No. So we say U, V, W are linearly independent.
It's just if it's a 3D vector.
So like IJ.
But if you had a vector, like let's say the vector U is going this way and U is going this way, W is going this way.
Yeah.
If you had a vector going this way, connecting both, then you could write U and this vector.
Yeah,
Then it would be the
so if you have a 3D vectors, couple of 3D vectors, right, you need to figure out whether they are linearly dependent or independent, right? You can't visualize that, right? So there is a technique that you match your, so we have that in questions. You are going to match the coefficients and you see whether they are linearly independent or dependent. That I'm going to teach you next. Okay? So this is the theory. This is the theory. It's very easy. In the exam there will be a question. Definitely there will be a question. Check whether these are linearly dependent or independent. Right? Very easy, but we will know how to do it. Right? Okay, so now look at this example. Okay, you can see now. Look at this example. Determine whether the following sets of vectors are linearly dependent. So A vector 2 and 1, B vector 3 and minus 1, C vector 5 and 6. Do you understand what it is? Right. So remember I told you. Yeah. So if you have B vector xi plus yj, right? So there is another way of writing this one. You can write this one as a column vector x and y, right? So if you put x and y, this is x, this is y, right? Or you can write as a row vector. So this is x and y over here. So it's a representation of a vector. So if you say, if you have v vector is equal to this 1, 2 and 3 or 2 and 4, right? So this is a 2 by 1 vector, right? So this is nothing but v vector is equal to 2y plus 4j.
Could it be I and J or could it be X and Y or could it be anything?
Anything.
Could I and J be anything?
That's like anything.
Doesn't have to be a unit vector either, right?
Just example.
Yeah.
Right? So it's another way of representing that. So now A vector 2, 1, B vector 3 this, C vector this. So there are 3 vectors, right? So we have to prove they are linearly dependent or independent, right? So what you have to do is C vector we are going to write. So this is the definition of the dependency. C vector we can write in terms of A, m times A, n times B, right? M and n are integer values. Then you put C. So now then you are going to match term by term. You can see I here 5, I here, I here. These are the I coefficients, right? So you are going to match I coefficients. So 5 is equal to 2 times m, 3 times n. You understand? 6 is equal to 1 times m minus n. Right? So from here you can find n and m values. If those values are finite, n and m values are finite, we can say these vectors are linearly dependent to each other. Why? Because you can see here you have a and b coefficients, right? So those are integer finite values, right? So if you get finite values for a and b or m and n, they are linearly dependent to each other, right? For example, this one. So you have a. So C is equal to m, a and b. So it's going to be minus 1 is equal to 3 m plus 2n. So I'm going to get this row. Then I'm going to get this row second. Then the last this row, right?
Because that's 3D vector.
Yeah. So 3D vector. So when I'm going to do that, so how many variables are there? 2 variables, m and n, right? How many equations are there? 3 equations, right? So do you need 3 equations to solve for 2 variables? No. If you have 2 equations is enough, right? So you have 2 equations. You are going to involve these 2 equations. First 2 equations to find m and n. Then you find m and n here. So you get these values, right? M and n. Then these 2 values should satisfy the third equation, right? Because third equation is a valid equation from the setup. So if you put these 2 values over here, it's not going to satisfy, right? So that means m and n are not realistic values. If they are realistic values, no matter what equation you choose, should be satisfied, right? So m and n are not realistic, so these 3 vectors are not dependent. So that's how you figure it out, right? But when it comes to exam questions, the setup is different. So, but basically you do the same thing. You do the same thing. You match coefficients, I coefficients, j coefficients, and k coefficients, and you see whether they make sense. That's all about it. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So this week, then a lot of homework. So I'll try to give some decent amount.
Okay.
Right? Some decent amount. Next week I'm going to discuss exam questions on linear dependency. Exam questions. And before that I will discuss if you have any homework questions, right? Then exam questions. Then I will go over the collinearity, which is the last part of the vectors. Then vectors is done, so then revision.
Collinearity is just if the vectors are in the same line. Oh, so that means collinearity is the vectors in the same direction.
Yeah.